It seems like Fox News gives certain candidates more love than MSNBC or CNN. If you are against us going to other countries like Iran and bombing them, if you're against interventions or helping the Saudis destroy Yemen, if you're against these type of regime change where we install leaders, if you're against any of that, they don't really want you on CNN. And if they do let you come on MSNBC or CNN, they give you a very hard time and they smear you. So Tulsi Gabbard once again was on Fox News, which seems like the only place where she really gets an opportunity to talk, unless she's on independent media. Okay? So I have a clip I want to play for you of Tulsi Gabbard on Fox News, breaking it down once again.
Ron Paul likes the kind of talk you have where he says you're very tough on foreign policy, but he doesn't like some of your economic views, that you might be a spender or that you might be, I'm paraphrasing here, a typical Democrat. And that unnerves some who think that you'll just parrot whatever the line is of the party right now, you say?
Well, look, you can look at my history. We've just talked about how I don't parrot anyone else's line. My focus, my mission is on serving the American people. And as President and Commander-in-Chief, I will bring a different kind of leadership than what we've seen in the past. Yes, on foreign policy, this has been a great focus of mine because it's important to recognize we cannot separate foreign policy from domestic policy. Because we've seen how since 9/11 alone, we've spent trillions of dollars on these wasteful regime change wars.
Gabbard? Would that stop?
That would end under President Gabbard.
You know, after I was just saying how great it was that Tulsi can go on like Fox News and they allow her to talk and it's not a bunch of smears. Here we go. Here we go right there with a smear. But I like the way Tulsi rebounded from it. And look, anybody who knows Tulsi Gabbard's record, what she's done over the last, ever since, like, I don't know, at least 2015, they'll know, like, she's not establishment. In fact, she's an anti-establishment Democrat, one of the few most prolific anti-establishment Democrats. And you know what? Just on the sheer fact that Tulsi Gabbard is anti-war, to me says it all, right? But then she went a step further and did not support Hillary Clinton, stepped down from the DNC, supported Bernie publicly. Ron Paul, what are you talking about, dude? Like, how can you say she's going to parrot something? Maybe that's not even Ron Paul's words. I don't even think that's Ron Paul. I think that's that guy. I don't even know that guy. Phil Hemmer. I don't know what's his name. Who's that guy? I don't know who the Fox News host, what his name is. I know he's been there for a long time. I've seen him before. The point is, for him to insinuate via a statement from Ron Paul that this is anywhere near reality when you know you're looking at a member of Congress who has thrown caution to the wind at great risk of losing her own seat to do it. Like, it was very unfavorable for her to support Bernie. I don't know if you know it or not, but supporting Bernie is I wouldn't call it a foreign policy issue. That's a domestic issue to the highest degree. That's for the future of the world. That's for the future of the United States on a micro level. On a macro level, it's for the whole world, right? She did that. For you to insinuate, accuse, make a blatantly false statement that she totes the line, she parrots, that she's the least, look, you may be able to criticize her for stuff, I don't know, like once upon a time, she felt this way, now she doesn't, like, okay, cool, you know, okay. You go back 8 years, right, when a person had no power and they were new to politics and they felt a certain way, okay, fine. But really, you got nothing on her, like in the last 6 years since she's been in office. I think it's 6 years. At least as a congressperson, I think it's been about 6 years. The point is this, man. And I don't want to come down too hard on Ron Paul because I'm not sure if he was taken out of context. I would like to think he was taken out of context. Look, if you disagree with the policies, fine. You don't think we deserve Medicare for all. People shouldn't look for Medicare for all. You know, Paul is a libertarian guy. He's conservative to a large extent. Maybe he doesn't agree with everyone getting health care. Okay, fine. Maybe he doesn't agree that we should stop saddling our kids with all this debt. And just like when we had back in the day when there was people make the mistake of believing there was always K through 12. There wasn't always K through 12. There was free education provided. Okay, that's something we got for fighting for it. But maybe Ron Paul believes that all the kids who are broke or kids in bad neighborhoods or kids one single parent households or maybe a parent died or maybe they're being raised by grandparents or whatever the financial situation is, who can't afford to go to a college, who makes a decision. I know people personally who had all the aptitude in the world to go to college. They just didn't have the money and they were afraid, well, what if I get out, I can't find a job and I got all this debt. I can't do that to my parents. Let me just take a trade doing something I really don't want to do, but I got to do it because I just need a job right now. And I don't have the money to go to school. Like maybe Ron doesn't think those kids, those young people and older people, whoever they are, doesn't deserve in the richest country in the world that's ever existed to be able to go to school without going $20,000 in debt. Okay? Maybe he thinks that. I disagree with him. But that's okay if you disagree with her. It's okay if you disagree with that. Maybe Ron Paul doesn't think mass incarceration is the problem. Maybe he thinks it's okay to have private prisons filled to the rafters with black and brown people. Maybe he thinks that's okay that we have structural institutional racism that puts a certain group of people socioeconomically challenged in positions where they're dealing with poverty from generational poverty. We're never given a fair shake in this country. People that were slaves for 4 and 5 generations released into the world with no education, no land, no loans, no nothing. And then, and locked up in 100 years of Jim Crow, segregation, black codes, all this crap to put them back in prison using the 13th Amendment, which makes them slaves all over again. Because they're now incarcerated with no rights to vote, no rights to access, even when they get out. No access to housing, no access to health care, no access to voting rights, no access to all these things. Maybe Ron has a problem with that. He doesn't see any problem with the people that are underclass who get pushed through that system. Maybe he never watched a Netflix special and learned about the Central Park Five and how that's not just a one-off situation, that people get railroaded into our prison system every day. Now, you may disagree with Tulsi Gabbard for standing up for those people, but don't say she's parroting it. Parroting it, the implication is that you don't believe it. When you say you parrot something, you just repeat it. A parrot doesn't think when it says your name back to you. It just says it. Because it heard it, it says it. I think the implication that Tulsi Gabbard doesn't truly believe that we need to end mass incarceration, that we need to end structural racism, that we need to end interventionist wars, that we need to end people dying because they can't go to the doctor because they don't have the co-payment, so they put it off until when they go it's too late and now they have a shortened lifespan. That's real stuff. Now, that may be parroting Democrat talking points to a jackass like this Fox News host or to Ron Paul, but to me it's not. Tulsi Gabbard is a unique individual. You may disagree with her policies, but they are her policies. And I do not believe a person who would stand up and say, I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton, and go a step further and say, I'm stepping down, and then go a step further and say, I'm supporting Bernie Sanders, and I don't care what it costs me, knowing that they were going to try to run people at her to get her out of her congressional office seat when she was once a darling of the Democrats. Rising star. I don't think you can call that person parroting. Just call them with a different mindset. But don't call her a parrot because she's not a parrot and it's disingenuous as hell to insinuate that. Tulsi Gabbard, very composed, very much under control at all times, very measured in her approaches, her responses. I think it's fine sometimes though, Tulsi Gabbard, my friend, to lay into that ass and let them know what time it is. Because for them to insinuate that to you, about you, is a humongous slight. And it's okay. I think Tulsi, you turn up the heat on their asses sometime. They need to hear it. Sometimes you got to be brutally honest. I know it's good when you measure, and I know women get a different scale. If women start yelling or getting angry or forceful, they say you're out of control, you're erratic. I know women have I understand. That it's really easy for men to look at women when they show emotion and say, oh, can't have her. She'll push the nuclear bombs. As if there's any more erratic than Donald Trump. But I think you would be well served, sister, to let it out. Let the chips fall where they may. Especially when somebody makes an insinuation, makes an accusation that you are not genuine. All right. All right, so look, guys, how the hell is Tim Black able to come up here and speak so boldly and talk to candidates like they're his cousin and just call out people like the Fox News guy called a hack? Well, because Tim Black's show is funded by people like you. I ain't funded by no DNC. I ain't funded by no GOP. I just do me, baby. Just me. And the people that support the show are people who watch the show, who value the show. So go to patreon.com, Tim Sake Live, become a member of my wolf pack. My wolf pack got my back. As long as I got my wolf pack, I'm going to be all right, because that's where the people are. It's people power, not establishment power.